I'm Miss Jobby, and you call this a masterpiece? This is bad. Not funny anymore. The Transformers masterpiece MP-52 Starscream is the third attempt by Japanese toy company Takara Tomy to produce a premium product of this treacherous T-word. I don't know, you come up with one. Why is the box mislabeled? Are we just ignoring MP3 now? Or are we ignoring MP11? I'm down. And just like that poor excuse of a masterpiece, MP-52 has his fair share of pros and a few fatal cons. And not of the deceptive variety. I need a new writer. Frustrating figures aren't the only things you can get from Japan. Try opening up a Boxu, the sponsor of this video. Thanks for that, and thanks for providing my meals for the rest of the month. Boxu is a premium Japanese snack box subscription service that brings snacks straight from Japan to your door. Don't point out that the background changes every time I open the box, please! They've partnered up with artisanal makers to bring authentic Japanese flavors directly into your mouth hole. And for those of you with freedom, there's free shipping to the US. First-time Boxu customers will receive the Seasons of Japan box, which lets you savor the flavor of each season. And repeat customers will get a themed box every month. Find out more through the link in the description and use my promo code JOBBY20 to get 20% off your first box. Take advantage of this limited time offer. Now, this Boxu contains the figure in its jet mode, which doesn't feel complete without these included null rays. Simple and clever engineering transforms these into shorter missiles, no extra parts required. Unlike the Make Toys Howling Meteor, Primus, how many Starscreams do I have? Deploy the landing gear, and the F-15 Eagle is Starscream in his jet mode. What can I say that I haven't already said? Let's just move on to his trunk. I'm just kidding, there's a little more to say. He does look very similar to his backstabbing brethren, which is not a bad thing at all. The painting and sculpting here is awesome. But there's a seemingly minor difference here that I would like to point out. Ah, shit. The tail fins do not move unless you want them to. No annoying floppy hinge joints when you're trying to whoosh him around. Combine that with the overall solidity of the mode, and that's already a step up from these other guys. Never mind, this profile view is rough. It's just not straight enough for me. I can say that, Pride Month's over. I understand that vehicle mode underside kibble is a fact of life at this point, unless you're a Chinese witch. Third-party companies, stop winning. I just thought that Takara would spend more time making this, I don't know, transform a bit more. It's so obviously the robot mode standing up, even more so than the other Starscreams. Not to mention... For real? Fake parts that maintain robot mode proportions make sense for something like the Beast Wars cast, but this just feels like an unnecessary cop-out, especially considering you got a perfectly good cockpit, which can open up. Nice. The nose cone can also flip open to reveal a radar. The wing flaps flap, and the thrusters are able to move around. They can also receive these included effect parts, and that makes it look like he's flying at supersonic speed on the ground. To get him up in the air, simply ignore this engineering abomination, attach this included stand adapter, and plug him into the included stand. To the surprise of no one, the Air Commander looks great in the air. I'm surprised the stand was included at all, since the previous few MPs had to rely on the stands included with Dinobot and Black Arachnia, which if you have on hand, you actual financial idiot, check out those reviews if you haven't, you can combine them with this stand to make it bigger. Or you can remove the stand adapter and plug in this included Megatron gun. Pretty small and very detailed. The attachments aren't detachable though. Dumb. But not as dumb as the fact that if you have Megatron plugged in, you can't plug in the stand adapter. What? Which means this display option looks unimpressive and is pretty much useless. Typical Megatron, always keeping Starscream on the ground. To make it a little more impressive, you can attach these included effect parts, minus the thruster pieces, and that makes for a convincing shooting display. And you get a card, stats on the back. Size comparison time, this guy is quite long. Here's Figma-matic Economy, my previous review, the SH Monster Arts Godzilla 2021, Masterpiece MP-10 Optimus Prime, and of course the other Starscreams. And while MP-52's jet mode is not too shabby, I still gotta give it up to MP-11 for being the best of the bunch. But if you remember this review, the jet mode is excellent at the expense of the robot mode. Speaking of which, let's get into it. First, gotta bring out this stupidly large foldout. With the amount of clams we're chucking their way, you'd think Takara can afford a few staples. Booklets for life. Like if you agree. we have the what? This isn't one of my many attempts at a lame joke. It's Takara's attempt at a lame joke, I think. Reference to the girl walk from across? Maybe? I don't know. Let's just move on before I die of laughter. At least I won't die of starvation. Thanks to boxing. Thanks to you guys on Patreon. Thanks for making it possible for me to waste my money. Links in the description if you're brave enough. After a fun and brilliant transformation, the robot mode looks amazing, huh? I know I've been implying that this is the part where I really lay into him, but I can't deny that this is the best G1 Starscream figure I own. He cleans up so well, the tail fins are gone, and the back, it's as if Takara dipped their toes in whatever witch's cauldron the third parties use. Still juts out a little too much for my taste, but don't ruin the moment, and the head sculpt is pretty much perfect. But it's not Starscream without a Starscream. He gets 6 alternate faces, including the default blank stare, scream, laugh, that's in order, smile, smug, subscribe, and oh, seems like that third-party witch's cauldron had some horny. Unlike Howling Meteor, there's no choking part to replicate Starscream's deepest desires, but his neck can extend to a ridiculous degree that a separate choking part becomes unnecessary.
Yes, Megatron! What the fuck?
The head's actually really posable, and are we at that part? Just one more thing. I still find the fake cockpit part to be disappointing, because if they were gonna make the chest fake, why not include a waist swivel at that point? Oh, we're here. No waist swivel! I can hear his screams. A fundamental piece of articulation is completely abandoned, and for what? A great looking robot mode? Why am I not that pissed about it? Is it because there's an ab crunch to make up for it? No, it's too loose to be useful. Maybe it's because the rest of the articulation is actually fantastic, and it's one of the best feeling modern masterpieces. I don't feel the need to loosen or tighten anything up, except the ankle joints. Those are legitimately annoying. Maybe some of that white stuff is in order. Other than that, the joints feel smooth and tight. He holds his position. Even without a waist swivel, I'm having a good time handling this guy. Helps that he's solid with a nice heft thanks to some die-cast metal. Coat touch technique is working again. I suppose it's true that Starscream never swiveled his waist in the cartoon, but he also never did this in the cartoon, so shitty argument. Individually articulated fingers, by the way, all well and good, except that he can't hold anything. He ain't gonna master any Autobots with that bitch grip. And he can also hold his null rays, which feels illegal. They're compatible with the effect parts. And he can still plug into the stand the same way. Can't really get any air though. And of course, a crucial and iconic accessory that Takara could not forget to include. A drill hand. Also this magic pen that can hold a literal piece of shit. I'm glad Takara included these hands that probably showed up for 1 second and not his coronation gear. And yes, I did try to put the MP-11 coronation gear on him. Doesn't work. Now, I might not have all the details, correct me if I'm wrong, but Takara expects you to buy not only this figure, but also Thundercracker and Skyward, which are repaints of the same exact mold. And after that, and only after that, can you directly mail Takara to get your coronation gear. That's essentially locking an alternate skin behind a ridiculous paywall. We talking about Takara or EA? And to top this shit Sunday is Japan exclusive. Now this is bad. Just bad. Actually, go fuck yourselves. I mean, I guess you gotta respect the hustle. Stop bashing Takara, you insolent fool. Size comparison time again. Here's Monica Godzilla Prime, Transform Element OP Leader, Fans Toy Sovereign, which unfortunately broke, and of course his fellow Starscreams. And while I still have a soft spot for Howling Meteor, I find that I like MP-52 a little bit more. Waist Swivel be damned. Until we can get a Starscream figure that's this cartoon accurate, fully transformable, and fully posable, this is my favorite Starscream toy. What? Never mind, this figure sucks. Third-party companies. Stop winning.